Present Productions presents the math of ESP, why it works even if you don't believe in it. Okay, again, I'm talking about the SunCell here, International Space Station Phase 2. In making the SunCell about as big as this water bottle, you can see how easy it is for the greedy people that want to run off and try and do like they do it in war zones. You have the greedy people go in there and capture all the first aid supplies, and then they dole it out to themselves first and whatever they want to whoever their friends are, and then if there's something left for the ones that are really in need, then they'll take care of them. From the 1980s on, and it was about 1983 when Raymond kind of got in my face about the fact that he wanted to sell it for as much money as possible. He could not concept on the idea that if you're getting a penny a mile and you've got no moving parts in the engine, you've got almost nothing but a little computer panel to worry about at the most for something that can break down, other than doors and cushions and stuff like that would be part of the actual physical vehicle. You're making one heck of a profit. I mean, it's a few thousand miles from Los Angeles to Paris, but I guarantee you, if Hollywood's just down the street and Beverly Hills is just down the street and Palos Verdes is just down the street and stuff like that, there's going to be an awful lot of those people that are going to go over to Morocco, which is over there in the Mediterranean, and London and Paris and Italy and right? Okay, so in no time at all, you're going to solidify the fact that you don't have to produce billions of tons of hydrocarbons into the air for mass transits that shouldn't have really gotten as big a foothold as they did, but nobody wanted to pay attention. This is where my discussing this stuff about democracy, kids will think about the fact that, hey, if we're taking $100,000 bribe to let a company do $100 billion worth of damage to our environment, and I've got to walk out the door and actually live in that stuff, how far is my $100,000 going to go? If you're a 70-year-old man, no problem, man. I'll take the $100,000 because I may drop dead in about 5 minutes anyway. Yeah, Trump logic there. Screw everybody. The idea with the cars, the idea that same vehicle could be a tow truck, the idea that same vehicle could be a rescue vehicle. Think of how many roads I don't have to see or look at or care about if I got a anti-gravity magnetic drive system that allows me to go absolutely anywhere to any elevation. I can travel at hypersonic speeds if I want to. It doesn't matter how big of a load I'm carrying. It doesn't matter how big of a load I have to carry back out. I can just twist dials and turn stuff up because that's what they are. They're rescue vehicles. Highly effective inside a magnetic ring core of a planet. Yeah, not a problem. Very inexpensive to run, but by golly gimbals, when you got a few million of them in operation, and you've got somebody suddenly needing to be evacuated, and you don't even need an airstrip. You just come in and drop in straight in like a helicopter and take off and go out, and you don't have to worry about the fact that you're going to carry the people 5,000 miles because a helicopter can't fly that far because this thing doesn't run out of energy, doesn't run out of fuel. Okay, so like I said, you got to stop and think about what's possible. Dilithium crystals might be possible, but when you're an old folk and you're afraid to try anything new, we've always done it this way. Biggest line I have heard on every single place I have ever visited. We've been doing it like this forever. We're never going to change. It's going downhill around here, but by golly, it's because we're not back in those good old days. We got to get back to the good old. The good old days are past. What are you living in? What is your environment right now? Deal with the environment as it is. Be proactive to your survival. Think about what's around you. Like I say, these flat Earth people, they can't explain how their dome could exist for even 1,000 years running. Okay? I mean, think about that. They are saying that here we are, this planet is, 36,000 miles around diameter. So they're going to flatten that out into a disk. And then they're going to put a dome over it that has no internal support whatsoever. Wow. I mean, that defies even the gods' understanding of being illogical. A dome that is literally tens of thousands of miles across, and it has no structure to hold it up. It has no structure to hold the sun up. Yeah. So that's why I say, you got to stop and think about what's logical, what makes sense. Do you want to be proactive and do something about your environment, or do you want to keep listening to the people that are corrupt? Say, oh no, next game, next round. You wait until later on. You don't get to play right now. Why don't you get to play? It's your life. It's your vision of getting out there and doing it. This is simply for me. I'm not out here to prove myself to anybody for any reason. I don't have any reason to. I can happily die on this planet right now knowing that I kicked butt as many days as I could of my life and doing something and making a difference. I may not have reached wherever I was trying to get to, but by golly gimbals, I'm not one of you people that gives up and crawls in a corner and snivels about how bad life is because you never try. This is so hard to think about, isn't it? Simplest stuff in the world. You need an environment, you need food, you want your culture, and you need some kind of energy to provide the things that you do. Why the heck do you need wars? You don't. Why do you need to run around pretending that this person that sat in the sun for most of his life and got really dark skin is worse than that person that sat in a cave or sat in an area that didn't get much sun? Yeah. You're not all that different, but you're sure willing to spend more time yakking and yelling at each other and calling names of each other and chasing around on frickin' conspiracy ideas that have absolutely no logic behind them. Flat Earth people can't stop and think about the fact that, 1,000 years, human beings have been sailing around the world. They haven't found a single ice wall. They haven't found a single pole. And they have certainly used sextants and things like that and looked up at the stars and seen the movements and the changes that no flat Earth person has ever in their wildest imagination been able to come up with an honest answer of. But like Trump supporters, you will go running around. And I'll even say Trump haters. You people spend so much time calling him a name, pissing on him, being like he is. He's tweeting out 1,000 tweets and you're tweeting out 1,000 tweets. He's a bad person. Why don't you just get up and do something? Why don't you try? Like I say, I'm actually having a hell of a wonderful time laughing my ass off. I'm doing it with magic. I'm shaking my rain sticks. I'm beating on my I'm tapping on my spirit drum and talking to the spirits. I'm meditating on causing as much infrastructure trouble as possible because it's all working for what I have to do. I have to clean all this land off. I have to clean all these places off. Radiation is man-made poison. Plutonium is not a natural element. Okay? Uranium is, and it's found in small doses, and it's not a problem. But when you pack stuff that is as deadly as you've been packing into your planet for the past at least 80 years, maybe closer to 100 by now, and you don't care about the fact that you're poisoning everything on your planet, shows that you're not logical. You sure as heck aren't using this. They're killing, well, actually, and backwards you are. You're killing your planet. And you're putting all the energy, motion, and faith behind the fact that if everybody dies, you get to go to heaven. So you don't care that you're poisoning your planet. So, yeah, you need to stop and think about how illogical you are. You need to stop and think about how somebody like me that had wonderful ideas. I mean, I take that same SunCell and I take it up into space and I'm powering all kinds of stuff in space because it doesn't make any difference. I designed it to power a starship bigger than anything you ever in your life imagined, as far as I'm concerned. Okay? And everywhere you go and everywhere you look, people are screaming, "Oh, no, don't think, don't question." And you want me to open my mouth and say more than what I'm doing here? Nah. It's not worth it. Why care about people that are running to suicide? The 1 or 2 or 3 that are actually in tune with what's happening in the world, what's happening to their planet, they'll probably find these videos and watch them and go into their own corners and try and figure out what the heck they can do. But I'm not here to save anybody. I'm nobody's Superman. I might be here for my son and be as super a dad as I can be, but that's a lot different than being, some kind of hero that spins planets backwards and fixes stuff that can't be done. People are crazy, insane.